because it's not us lecturing at you. It's one of our most wonderful clients, Rob. He's been with us for 6 years, 5.5, 6 years. And originally we were seeing him home visits, so he actually did all the work by himself. And then eventually when we moved here, he started coming here to the group exercise class. A bit of motivation, but all the hard work was done by Rob at home with very minimal supervision. So the results are stunning, and he will tell you a little bit about his experiences. But we kind of hold him up as on a bit of a pedestal because, you know, it sort of goes to show it can be done, and to do it with the least amount of, you know, like we were really just there to give him some advice, and he took the ball and ran with it. So if you want to talk about motivation, this is the person to talk to you about it. So welcome, Rob.
Yay! Oh, thanks for that. That was a nice introduction, really. After listening to Merendi, all I can probably say now is she's right, and it can work. Bit of a background, I'll give you a bit of background. Something like 5.5 years ago, I trotted off to see the GP after doing the blood test. He very politely told me I'm type 2 diabetes, I'm a diabetic. I didn't know a lot about it. He rather sort of, not grumpily, he just sort of off the cuff said, well, you've got a couple of options. We can medicate you, and you'll get medication for the rest of your days, or you can adopt what's called a lifestyle change. And that basically means get fitter, healthier, and lose weight. He didn't say there was a third option, that was to do nothing and just slide off into oblivion. But I got the message fairly bluntly. So I opted for the lifestyle change, which probably was stunning for me as it was for him. We sat down and prepared a health management plan. Part of that health management plan was for me to follow a few actions, one of which was to join Diabetes Queensland, learn about diabetes, start to monitor my blood sugar levels. Above all else, there was a referral to a dietitian and a referral to an exercise physiologist. Never heard of an exercise physiologist, let alone a who or what a Merendi was. So I trotted off to the dietitian and began to learn a few things. I then made an appointment with Merendi's, and Carly kindly came and saw me at home. I didn't quite know what to expect. I think nor did Carly for that matter. So we sat down, and it's still quite vivid in my mind. We sat down and she discussed my health, or lack thereof, what I was trying to achieve, and significantly she asked about my physical capabilities or incapabilities. From there she developed an exercise program, a home exercise program, and showed me the way. There was something like, I think, 6 exercises that all ran for about, and how well I went, 45 seconds, a minute and a half, and I'd do that twice. So it was sets and reps. She started to run it. You've got to do 2 sets, or you've got to do a set and repeat it. Okay, right. So with that, I was off and running, off and waddling. Carly then came out and saw me a few months later to ensure that my technique was correct, and at that point in time, so I was on the right track. I would do the sets and reps probably 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I also acquired a exercise bike, not basically the same as downstairs, so I get onto that on other days as well. 12 months on, one of Carly's colleagues came out and saw me, had a look at my progress, then subsequently revamped my program, or up the ante I think would be a better term, and away I went again. So this went on for 2 years. 2 years I kept plugging away at home, and progress was pretty slow to begin with, and then all of a sudden I could start to see some results, which probably kept my momentum going. As Carly alluded to a moment ago, after 2 years, the next review I decided to come in here, and I think it was not long after. So I sat in here, came in here, and had a look and had a think about what was available, and certainly the classes had a bit of appeal to me. But when I came in here, I'd lost, from the first meeting, I'd lost just over 20 kilos. So I progressed to the point where I was getting stronger and healthier, and I'd lost weight. One of the more important things, what the classes appealed to me and I dialed up for, I think, a Wednesday morning, which my circumstances and a little lazy at the end of the day. But I was keen to keep the weight off. That was my biggest concern. I'd seen a lot of family and friends, they get into the super shakes and the fat diets and they lose a bulk of weight and then they turn it off or get boring and then fatten back up again. Oops, sorry, increase the weight. I was determined that I'd done the hard yards for 2 years and I was determined to keep it off. And so the idea of coming in here was a bit of a change, a little bit of extra equipment. It's not necessarily the equipment, I think just the extra exercises. And I think I heard Merendi say before about a variety of things we could do. Not long after I came in here, Carly put me through some boxing exercises. I thought, gee, these are good, I can do this. This was after about 5 minutes, you know. Hey, I was still going, well, we got a class on a Monday night, so we'll give this a gig. What's an hour of boxing? It can't be too hard. I drove out of here after the first Monday night, I thought, geez, I hope I don't have to turn. But it was different. It was variety, and it was physically exercising. So I'm still doing it. So sadly, last Monday there was only me and Mitch, and he hammered me for an hour. I did it in the nicest sort of way, I think. So the classes then just gave me more variety, and I've continued on with those classes to the point now I've got I do 3 classes a week. Monday night boxing, Wednesday morning my own program that the ladies have developed for me, and Thursday night with Jesse's functional fitness and circuit work. So I've kept that going, I'm pleased to say. I also do work from home. In the interim, I've also, as Carly alluded to, bought a bicycle a few years, you know, I started to do some cycling, did a couple of 8-day, 9-day bike rides around Queensland. Recently I decided to do some fun runs just for the hell of it, so I've started to do 5 and 10k fun runs. And it's all sort of balancing and adding into what I'm doing. Pleased to say the weight has stayed off. Interesting sidelights through that trip. I worked out that after 10 kilos I had to change my wardrobe. 10 kilos lost, I had to change my wardrobe. Clothing retailers in Brisbane would be pleased to know I'm halfway through my 3rd wardrobe change. It gets a bit expensive, but it smarts up the wardrobe. The other thing is my GP recently advised me that on a technicality I'm no longer a type 2 diabetic. He also shared with me, and you know, when I say off the cuff 5 years ago, he now shared with me and enlightened me. He said, you know, a lot of guys your age, you know, fat number 50, he said, yes, we'll do the lifestyle, we'll get a health management plan. And he said one or two things. He said he never sees them again, or he sees them in 6 months and nothing's changed and they're looking for medication. So he actually is, and he's been a motivator, as everyone here has been a motivator. And he's quite proud and chuffed with my progress. He actually says now to his med students, he says, someone finally listened to us and took notice. So that's good for my ego, and it's a nice feeling. What can I attribute my progress to? I suppose there's three factors. Certainly diet, when I learned a bit about what was good and bad. And not only the good foods and the bad foods, but the eating patterns. I changed my eating patterns fairly dramatically. Rather than skipping breakfast and getting a sausage roll for lunch and pigging out at 8:30 at night, I changed the balance of those things. Portion control, there's a little bit of work to do on portion control, but they helped me understand. I started to read labels, even although glasses you need to double improve to read some of these labels. The other factor is exercise, no arguments about it. It's had a big bearing on me. And I suppose from a personal point of view, I was particularly determined. I was pig-headed, you could argue. So the three commodities certainly helped me progress. And from that point of view, I'm pleased to the extent to where I've gone. Turning to the exercise side of things, and what was the balance? I suppose, look, I jokingly said probably there was 25% diet was a factor, probably 40% determination, and 50% exercise. Now, someone will have added that up and said, well, that'll be 115%. Yeah, it's just making up numbers really. 115 was my weight at the time I started. It's now 90. So the time, it's changed now. I don't have as much determination. Don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of focus. The change in winding down the determination is now because it's part of my routine. And I heard again Merendi say the word routine. I've got to a routine now where I do come out here, I put it in my diary, thanks Merendi, and she hasn't even put me up to this, you know, this is all what I've done. I'm in my diary, Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays at Merendi's, maybe Sunday for a fun run or a cycle ride or something like that. So it's part of my routine now, and that's helped my process, and as I say, I might have loved my determination, but certainly not the discipline to do things, but it's the routine, which is sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, you know, but I'm here, I do it and I push myself to do it. The exercise side of things has been important, and probably why I gravitated and stayed here with Merendi and her team of people. There are probably 4 very significant reasons. For me, it was their professionalism, and you can do exercises for home. You know, you can see here a lot of personal trainers and boot camp Nazis. They'll say, righto, hit the floor and give me 400 push-ups, or something to that effect. You know, and that doesn't gravitate with me. I'd rather do the exercises, understand that my body's capable of looking after myself, rather than jumping in and doing, a tricep dip with a busted shoulder and things. And one of the things I've been very, very fortunate to have is the input of Carly and Jesse and Mitch and Merendi and others, just understanding my body, which is a little bit complex at times, but making sure and keeping an eye on my technique so as not to do more damage or any damage to my body. So the professionalism has been exceptional, and that's what I love about it. It's not a gym where there's a lot of gym jockeys there trying to show people what to do. They're professional people, they're skilled. The second and equally, if not more important factor that I attribute my progress to is the motivation and encouragement they give me. It's none of this, you only did 10 push-ups there, you've got to do 15. It's a real motivator and encouragement on every step of the way I've gone. As small as it may be, there's a lot of well done's that go through the room, and that lifts and inspires, and I use that word inspire. Just when you think you're struggling, then you hear a well done, you think, I'm doing okay, I can do better. A couple of really odd examples, minor in the scheme of things. Carly showed me one day an exercise on the fit.
I think I told you, I don't think I can do it.
And she told me that afterwards. Fit ball, all I want you to do is on all fours, balance yourself on the fit ball. Yeah, right, I've got as much sense of balance as most politicians do. So here I am, right, this is it, this is how you do it. First time, I think I lasted 4 seconds, and I was pretty chuffed with 4 seconds before I took a tumble. Week later, I got it to about 25 seconds, and it was well done, this is good. I was feeling really chuffed at that. So I keep plugging away. I think a couple of weeks later, I got it to 45 seconds. And again, it's that inspiration and motivating thing. These days, I've been able to extend that significantly longer. We're going to get down to taking my hand off the ball and start to look like some circus clown. But it's that motivating factor that pushes me on. The other example there was the humble skipping rope. And Jesse one day said, well, righto, Rob, you're going to do some skipping. And to be honest, the only skipping I've done in the previous 40-odd years was university lectures. And that didn't get a lot of good. So here we go. Well, it wasn't pretty, and Jesse won't deny it. I was double skipping and jumping all over, and I did marginally better than hanging myself or falling over. Pleased to say I've progressed now. I think I'm very happy with myself now. My physical skipping is better, my cardio, the whole thing. Even to the point that I went out one day and bought my own skipping rope. $5.95 from Ross Strudwick Sports Store. I got my own skipping rope now. So preaching to the converted. But it's that encouragement factor that has made the very, very important progression for me, and I can't underestimate that. Third quality about the Merendi environment here is the variety that I've sort of alluded to. Merendi's said that. There's some great equipment, but there's some it's just like $5.95 skipping rope. I can tell you, just variety of doing things. There's the Bosu, there's the fit ball. I had a fit ball at home, still do actually for that matter. I'd never ever used it until Carly came and saw me because I was afraid I was going to sit on it and burst it. And that's a fact. I still use them now and they're great. I can tell you that there are 17 steps on the way up. You should check on the way down. Because warm up, do some stairs runs, right over. 17 up, 17 back, 17 up, 17 back. I'm a bit of a nutter for numbers, but 680 stairs to warm up, 20 laps of the stairs. So it's just the variety of things, and it's even Thursday night, Jesse's come up with 2 new different exercises with the bands, and I think, gee, where did they come from? It's good because when you keep doing it, you want a bit of variety. This walking is for the birds, shall we say, back. So the variety is important. The fourth factor that I put a lot of value on is that every class I come here is fun. The participants and the fellow participants are all encouraging of each other. There's none of this competitiveness, that some of the gyms seem to inspire. I was just talking to Karen before, we've had some fun, we've had some silly games at times, but there's a lot of fun, and I think that sort of environment is helpful. It's not competitive. So for me, the Merendi experience has been exceptionally empowering for me and fun and sort of kept me going. As I say, there's been some funny times along the way, there's been some great things. I mean, last month I was fortunate enough to get a series of one-on-one sessions with Jesse, thanks to Medicare and EBCs or something. So I had a month here of 4 sessions in the week. So much fun, Rob, I think, Carly calls it. So much fun. I was reflecting on the way out one afternoon after a very busy week, and I'm thinking, hang on, Merendi's Health and Wellness? Named it correctly. It should have been Merendi's Wealth and My Wellness. such was the week. So I have a grizzle every now and again. But, hey, look, from a personal point of view, and it's a bit trite, it's a bit cliche, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And it takes the determination, and it takes discipline. And it takes good advice and guidance, and the Merendi team here will give you the guidance. But if I can make a comment, it's a framework from which we can work. There might be 1 or 2 days, and we've got to fill in those days and do other things at home with some of the tips that Merendi has offered us. I'm the first to admit I'm luckier than most in the sense I haven't got a dodgy knee, or I haven't got a dicky shoulder. I've had over time, from footy and cricket and those sorts of things, I've had bad lower backs, and sore ankles and those things. And so I have been lucky in that regard that I don't have any bad stuff. Funny enough, as I got fitter and healthier and lost weight, I even got luckier, because now I'm actually improved, my ankles are improved, I don't have any lower back problems. 5 years ago, I couldn't have run out of sight in a dark night. At this point in time, I still hold bragging rights over my 24-year-old daughter on our most recent 5 and 10K runs. She's a bit grizzly about that, but hey, I'm going to keep it going for as long as I can. You've got to do other things, and I stress upon you, use the Merendi environment as a framework, and fill it in with some cycling or running or whatever helps you. But again, with the professional advice available to you through here. I endorse it. It does work, it has worked, and it will continue to work for me. And I would encourage you all to use the facilities, use the resources, use the professional expertise, and look, if my words have been any help, well and good. If I can be of any help, then it's certainly available. But it can be done, and I'm pleased to say I'm there, and I won't be changing. I'll be haunting them for a long time to come.